Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and John Molori.
You know, I think I should have stayed in Florida.
Are you a hologram?
You know, I come here today. It's my first time back in the studio after 3.5 months.
So you weren't in the studio. This is your first time in the studio.
No, with you.
With me.
Last week I was in with Rico.
So really it's your first time in studio.
That's a good point. Good point. Hey, it's good to be back.
Hey.
Nice to see you, man.
See you too, man.
You know, you've lost some weight.
I feel good. Yeah.
Well, you really haven't, but I'm trying to pay you a compliment.
I feel good.
I mean, you look okay.
I couldn't possibly feel as good as I look.
What about me?
No, you're all right. Looking all right.
Derek,
where's your tan? You don't even have like a tan or anything.
Are you kidding me? Look at this.
Do I have to?
I'm going to tell you something else. I have no tan lines.
I'd like you to prove that before the audience right now.
I just want you to know that. Hey, it's good to be back. Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zappala, one of my dearest, closest friends, co-authors a lot of books with us.
Yeah.
John Molori. Nice to have you, Johnny.
Caught that pop up.
Listen, we have a jam-packed show. First, our headlines. This is just a little quickie for our friends at PSA. For the first time in history, PSA has graded and shipped over 1 million trading cards in a single month as it continues to work through a submission backlog that measured around 13 million cards around this time last year. The total was up 25% from February, when PSA reported grading and shipping 802,694 trading cards in a month containing 3 fewer days.
Wow.
In the first 3 months of this year, PSA says it has graded and shipped 2,783,000 cards, a 7.8% increase year over year from the same 3 months in 2021. For more information, you can go to read the whole article on Sports Collectors Daily. Our good friend Jeff Miller and the great staff at sportscollectorsdaily.com. Everything you need to know about the hobby is right in that.
Volume.
All right, listen, we have a jam-packed show today like we always have.
I'm going to get this out of your way because you're done with this. You got a lot of papers.
First of all,
I'm here to help.
We're going to bring in, and I did this against my better judgment. The reason being...
Didn't know you had better judgment.
Well, the reason being, because when we had Provenzoli on,
Provenzali. I had Provenzoli with a nice cream sauce last week.
We had Prov on. Rico and I had Prov on last week. And he called me up and says, "What? Do me a favor. Don't get Grady on anymore. I'm the guy.
He's the guy.
I'm the guy."
Yeah.
That is so not true.
I said, Michael, I can't do it. We got to bring Grady. Is like family. We got to bring him in.
Right.
So he's here with us. Our good friend from Heritage Auction, the one, the only, Derek Grady. Doesn't have a baseball hat on. Looks a little disheveled.
He looks good. He looks like a busy guy.
Yeah, I was out late last night.
He looks like he was out.
That's not the narrative anymore about where I've been found drunk on the street.
You know something? Mike said he told us what's going on. He told us you're in rehab. So, no, we're not going to discuss that anymore.
Right.
So, I mean, that's okay.
Sensitive. We're sensitive to that.
All right, so Derek is going to be with us for the whole hour. Great to have you.
Sounds like fun.
We love you. And right now, we're going to bring in another guy that kind of gets what we're all about. Guess what we're all about? We had him on a couple weeks ago.
What are we all about?
I don't know. We're still asking. Jeff Marren from Rockhurst Auctions. Jeff is like, this is at the pinnacle of his auction. Jeff, how are you, brother?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Good. We're going to let you run with it because this is a big auction for you. I see some Elvis sign behind. You see that Elvis sign?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's actually a billboard.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Look at that.
Yeah.
I got to ask you a question before we get into this. Did Elvis, in fact, fall off of his toilet seat when he died?
He did die in the upstairs
even your
of his
grandson's
house.
embarrassed at that question.
I'm just asking a question. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Came to his house, he went to the restroom, yes.
Okay.
I thought he was still alive. I just saw him pumping gas at this gas station in New Jersey. Is that still not?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Now, there's a history between Grady and Marren. There's a little history there. You guys want
Yeah,
to
what
talk
is
about
that
that
history?
briefly?
Yeah, well, we had in the early 90s.
Yeah, we had 6 bouts in the welterweight division, 3 of our careers. We split them, so we won't get into the bad calls in those fights.
Yeah. we worked together in an auction company in the 2000s, the beginning of the 2000s to like 2007, and Jeff was designed the catalogs, and to be honest, the way he designed the catalogs are the way a lot of people mimic what he did, to be honest. So Jeff is brilliant at laying out catalogs, and so I have to give him all the credit in the world. I think a lot of the auction companies have taken that from what he did. So
very cool.
I'm happy to see that he has his own auction company now and doing well.
Jeff, why don't you tell us about the auction? When's it over? Tell us what the highlights are.
Yeah, it's the bidding's open now at rockhurstauctions.com, and it ends this Saturday, April 30th. So we've got a really nice selection of, probably close to 200 lots of Topps and Bowman cards and other sports memorabilia, autographs. Of course, a big selection of rock and roll and Elvis memorabilia. Elvis is one of our specialties. I ran Graceland Auctions down in Memphis for 5 years prior to opening my own firm. But the baseball cards are really exciting collections this time, because we've got basically a 54 to 75 Topps and Bowman set run from 2 different collections that are both fresh to the hobby. Half of that is from a guy in Texas, took it all out of packs when he was a kid, and it's just coming into the hobby for the first time. They're brand new, fresh grades in the sets. So that's pretty exciting. And then there's another collection that was put together in the 80s and early 90s before grading, mid 60s to mid 70s sets. So that's pretty exciting. A lot of nice cards came out of that. A lot of nice sets, especially.
Now, did you mention Texas? Because one of my guys lost that collection to you, since that's where our headquarters is. It was down the street from Heritage.
I'm not sure where your headquarters is, but it was it wasn't that close to you. Unless you really remember the collection. I don't know.
Texas is a big state.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I know. I figured that out when I tried to fly in. So, and then I decided to drive home. So, no, but it is a great collection to see. And Derek, you know how great this is when stuff comes into the hobby for the first time,
for sure,
and hasn't been touched or seen.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's just great to break down the collections, and I'm sitting there with a guy who's now in his 70s, and he's the one who opened the packs when he was between 7 and 12 years old. Cool. So it's kind of nice, and it doesn't happen that often, but it's really cool. So yeah, and there's some other great stuff in the auction card wise. We have a nice 49 Bowman collection with a Jackie Robinson, excuse me. And then for that more modern collector, we've got a few. We've got an Ovechkin rookie in a Beckett 9.5. I've got a 2000 Autographics Tom Brady in a PSA 7, PSA DNA Mint 9. And there's autographs, hundreds of autographs, autographed baseballs and flats. And then, of course, the rock and roll stuff. Like I said, there's a specialty in rock and roll and Elvis with us. So we've got a really nice selection of Elvis's personally owned jewelry, clothing,
very cool. That's cool.
Jeff, you have a jacket worn by Paul McCartney. Can you talk about that a little bit?
A few Beatles pieces. Yeah,
you have some really good Beatles pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a really nice autograph of all 4 of them in 1962, right after their new drummer Ringo Starr joined the band. My girls spent some time with them at a bar at a little, after they played a little theater. They were the first on the bill of like 6 bands. So it's a really early autograph. And the jacket you mentioned is great. Came into the marketplace a few years ago, but it was worn by McCartney for a show in 1963. And then he signed an autograph for one of the drivers, getting them to and from the show, and then gave the guy the autograph and forgot the jacket in the car. So it's great. And there's photos of him on British TV wearing the jacket and on stage with it. So it's a pretty cool piece.
Wow.
Hey, Jeff, before we let you go, you guys, and I'm being, serious, Mr. Grady, for once. It's good to see, this hobby, and we talk about this a lot. You guys are competitors, but it's almost like there's a fraternity in this hobby among all of you guys, dealers, auction houses. You guys are all friendly competitors with each other, and I tell you what, man, that is very cool to see. Just want you guys to know that.
Yeah, it's not that big a group, It's really only, it's probably less than 100 people, working at our level. So, and we've all known each other for decades.
Right.
And yeah, it's competitive, and we try and beat each other out on stuff.
Of course.
But like I say, all boats rise in a high tide. So you like to see everything do well that comes to market, even if you're not handling it.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I will be checking out. I mean, there's so many different auctions and auction companies, and I try and support all my friends, and I got to go. I know with Jeff, I was screwing up with my passwords and everything like that. He had to email me, and then I travel and I forget.
I've done that a few times.
I'm going to go in and check out his auction because he truly is one of the good guys and does it the right way. And I'm definitely, whatever my name endorsing an auction means, I definitely, you guys should check out his auction.
Jeff, your website?
It's rockhurstauctions.com.
Very simple. All right, kid, listen, we wish you the best. Good luck with the auction. And please, guys, this auction ends tomorrow night, which is because we're broadcasting on Friday.
Yep.
On Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'm losing it, man.
Or
I'm so
night.
confused.
We're Saturday night.
Because
You
of
didn't get
the
anything
change.
right.
Because of the change. Saturday night.
And I said, yeah. I said, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
did.
That's correct.
Anyways,
Yeah.
it ends on
Saturday
Saturday.
night, April 30th.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, Jeff, take care. Okay, you know something? He's a good guy, Jeff.
he's a great
Yeah, he
guy.
is.
Yeah, very good.
And
And
he
what I said is 100% true. And I think you guys have noticed, a lot of catalogs have come from his design and the way he's laid them out. And, we emulate that.
No,
in
that's
the
good.
hobby,
And I
the
tell you what,
different-
there are some amazing catalogs, and you're right. All the catalogs, they have that same feel to them.
Yeah.
But they just are all great. All great.
I think in our Platinum Night catalog, that was something, that was, I believe it was Chris's idea, to do the lenticular cover,
Yeah.
with the 3D cover.
Yeah.
And there is not a show where we give those out where
Very
there's
cool.
anything left.
That
I
was
think
very
People
the,
take them. And I believe, other than now everything's online, so I got rid of my old catalogs because they just take up too much room. But I mean, those are all those old catalogs, whether it was Leland's before in the 90s when Josh did them, right?
Yeah.
There's just a history lesson. And when you look back at some of the stuff that was in those catalogs,
Well,
it is amazing.
Derek, you know who had a pretty good catalog? And then I'll talk about the show going forward. But you know who had I know he's persona non grata, but in the early days, Mastro had a pretty cool catalog too.
Well, Jeff's the one that designed them.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
You
Very
put
cool.
two and two together. Congratulations. And you
I
got
did
four
not
somehow.
realize
That's a
that.
first. That's a first. Don't you guys find, though, I think one of the unique things about, and obviously Heritage has a lot of great non-sports stuff as well
Oh, yeah.
on your site, and a lot of places do, but the music thing, the music and sports connection thing, I mean, I hang out with all sports fans, and they're also big music fans. I think
Absolutely.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of cross-pollination there with
Very
sports
cool.
and music fans. So sites
100%.
like that
If
work.
I
Yeah.
could get, if I had that in front of me and there was more rock and roll shows, I mean, I am a diehard Led Zeppelin fan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
my
think they're
man.
the greatest rock and roll band of all time.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
not a close second. I would easily, now, of course, I'm ready to start getting into it now. Rock and roll autographs have exploded, right?
Right.
But you could easily, I mean, yes, there's a lot to your point. It runs in the same circles.
I
Most
agree.
sports
I agree.
fans are passionate about rock and roll.
Yep.
And there is some really cool memorabilia out there. I mean, Heritage Entertainment sales,
Yeah.
we have that stuff. And more than ever, now that we have Joe Madeleine on our team from Profiles in History, the
Yeah.
company he owned, now he's at Heritage, and our sales have just gotten
Well, listen,
incredible.
for our viewers and audience, our producer here, Chrissy Cunningham, is she's on the verge of breaking out big time in the rock and roll industry.
You know, it'd be
So
great
hold on. So
if you saw her live.
If
Wait,
you,
hey,
if
hold
you
on.
would like her autograph, send $29.95 to ATS Communications, and we will certainly
Care of John, who went to a couple shows.
Yeah, John
Wait,
saved
what's
me
she?
play.
I'm
golf.
gonna go.
Breaking through in? Hey, come on.
Chrissy's got a
What does she
beautiful
play? What does she do?
She's a vocalist. and
She's a vocalist.
Very good.
Maybe
Very
next
good.
time,
Okay.
Chrissy, I'll come up and do a song with you.
There you go. I was going to
geez.
say,
Hey, I just
Derek.
want backstage passes, in case you're playing with Motley Crue or something.
Well, that's
They-
my
I heard they
sister.
party.
That's my sister.
I mean, I know they're sacred to you,
You,
Derek.
you want to
but,
deal? You want to deal with my sister in that?
We did a Zeppelin medley actually on our last gig.
Did you
Did
really?
you really?
We really
They did do a
yeah.
Zeppelin,
All right, listen.
which is daring, by the way.
It is.
But they pulled it
Very
off.
daring.
A
Get the
little
Flint
later on, by
Goebbels.
the way, later on the show, we have Bob Brodwater from Collectibles Insurance coming on with us. You got to have your collections insured. If you don't, then you're playing with fire. And then Scotty Russell from the Collector Connection may be joining us later on. But on a very serious note, we don't often, myself, JM, and Rico don't often do this, but somebody brought this to my attention from one of several groups that follow us. There's a gentleman out in Wisconsin. His name is Eric Michaelius. Eric is a collector, a young collector in his 30s, 30-something. Some of you may have seen this because a lot of people have sent this to us. And on April 18th, he lost his wife, who was also in her, I think she was 37. His wife passed away from cancer, leaving Eric and their 2 boys, ages 8 and 5. Eric has a wonderful collection of signed baseball cards of modern players that he got personally, because he's out in Wisconsin. He spent some time in Arizona.
Yep.
So he would go out to their spring training and just get signed cards, and you're seeing some of them on the site right now. And to be honest with you, he wants to sell his collection so that he can help pay for his wife's funeral.
And maybe put away some money for kids, for
his
school
kids,
and
for
everything.
college later
yeah.
on.
Right.
So he's looking to liquidate his collection. You can email him, and we'll post the email address. And there's also a GoFundMe page that has been set up for Eric and his 2 boys, which it's also posted. So if you'd like to make a contribution to help him, please do. Our condolences. I spoke to him.
Yeah. He also has a Facebook page.
Yeah,
You can
and,
go
you
and
know,
friend him and send him a message if you want. So, yeah, right.
We had a nice conversation. What do you say to someone that just lost his wife?
Yeah.
I sent him the condolences of everyone.
So young.
So whatever you can do to help him out. He did tell me that he has been he's been overwhelmed from the response that he has gotten.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he said people have been sending him money and just said, send me 1 card.
Yeah.
He said, for way more than the card is worth.
Well, like you said, when Jeff and Derek were both on, the collectibles community is a pretty tight-knit community. So hopefully by getting this out there, whether it's fans of the show, viewers, listeners, or people in the business, do what you can to help out a family.
All right, we're going to take a break. We come back. Grady is in the house. We are going to pepper him. We're peppering you with questions today. Peppering. Nothing is off limits.
He looks really nervous.
Nothing's off limits?
Nothing's off limits. And with the first thing we're
scary.
going to talk about is Molori has a question to you about a steel cage match that we heard. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, mile high. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
Okay, before we talk to Grady about his steel cage match, which I don't know anything about, you guys have been talking about it, let's bring in our good friend Scott Russell from the Collector Connection. Scott, look at the difference between Grady's office and Scott's office. Right. Scott is
because Grady has employees.
That's right.
That's a good point. Well, that's a very good point.
That's true.
Scott, you've got a blockbuster going, man. You're on a roll. Tell us about it.
Well, I normally don't actually bring them to show, but I just got these out of the safe for you guys.
Satchel Page, that's the 48 leaf.
Page, the 48 leaf short print in 3.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
And a sharp 3 for that. It does have a little printer schmutz, which the glare is making it hard to see, which is the main problem. And typical centering.
Nothing wrong with schmutz.
Card.
Lift it up just a little bit.
Familiar with.
Oh, I know that card.
Yeah, Mantle.
Grady was supposed to get me one for Christmas, never did.
Well, here's your chance. Make it up to him. But it's a low grade one, but it's gorgeous centering for that card.
Actually, that's a nice looking card.
Just creases.
Scotty, did you get? You got
some 2 heavy hitters in the auction.
You got some tremendous leaf cards there. The 48 leaf. Was that from one source, or how did those come about?
It's actually a gentleman whose father had passed. He was actually a general in the Army, and it's his childhood collection from 48 all the way up to late 60s.
Yeah.
And he's got complete or near complete sets of everything, and he had a ton of the leaf short prints.
Wow.
Which is, as we all know, pretty unusual.
Yeah, there's some great names. So you've got some Ted Williams stuff, Clemente, Bob Gibson. Hey, question for you. I know we've talked before recently, but I think there's been a little bit of a rise in interest in Clemente in the hobby. What about Bob Gibson? We don't talk about him a lot or enough. What's his place in the hobby?
His rookie is huge, but really once you get past that, they don't do like that higher level, like Koufax level or Clemente level.
Yeah.
Where those guys, all their cards command big bucks.
We've talked about that.
I'm surprised because he's got that mythical quality about him too, like Koufax does. I mean, he wasn't as nice a guy as Koufax. We know that on the Hill. So maybe that works against him, but it seems to me that he should have a higher place in interest.
I agree.
Yeah,
agreed. He's undervalued.
Great World Series history too. Which
right. But something?
A big deal.
I'm going to throw this out to both of you guys. So John's making a good point about Bob Gibson. It's almost like I guess I'm going to ask the question. You can take guys like Gibson, take guys like Al Kaline, take guys like Ernie Banks.
Yep.
Are they almost at the point where their cards are not going to become any more valuable because it's kind of passed them by, or is there still potential for them to continue to go up?
No, there's definitely potential for them to go up. There's 100% because when Mantle, Clemente, Aaron, Mays, Koufax get overpriced, people start to look. Well, they should be. To Molori's point, which he made a good one, Gibson's undervalued. It's one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Yeah.
One of the most feared pitchers of all time. why is it only his rookie card that people really chase? Now, I know the 1960 and 9 or whatever, but I think the point is 8s and 7s are still very affordable on Bob Gibson throughout his career, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Al Kaline, Brooks Robinson.
Same thing.
Lots of other star cards that, other than their rookie card, there's still plenty of value there. And I think and the other thing too is once you get your Mantles and your Aarons and your Clementes, why aren't you collecting these other guys that were legendary?
That's a good point.
In the game.
Scott?
So.
Oh, and the other thing too, and I agree with what Grady's saying. I do think Derek, sorry.
That's okay. Call me either.
Call him Grady.
With
yeah,
the potential for growth on them is, we saw a really surprising thing when Hank Aaron died. I mean, deaths have always affected autograph values because now they're finite.
Yep.
But we saw this weird, huge jump in card values when Hank Aaron died, and then that kind of bled over to Clemente and and even Jackie. It was like all of a sudden people became aware of the early black players again for some strange reason when Hank died.
Well, politics has also had a part in it with Black Lives Matter and with Jackie. Really, I mean, you remember when his rookie cards, that is not a short print in the Leaf series. 49 and 48 Leaf, they are out there.
Yeah.
I'm now pricing up cards for our weekly sales. I couldn't believe what even like a Jackie 49 Bowman and a 1 goes for.
I agree 100%. Yeah, and I honestly believe that the whole social consciousness movement of the last year or two,
I agree,
has shined the light not only on Jackie Robinson, who's the trailblazer of all trailblazers when you talk about sports and culture, but also Clemente, who had a tremendous social consciousness about him.
And Aaron, because of the controversy of
and Hank Aaron with everything he went through, exactly,
and
100%.
Hopefully, we see the Negro leagues get more respect.
I agree.
There were incredible players that couldn't play in the major leagues. How many major league records would have been other people if they could have played?
And then you get the guys who had a cup of coffee in the majors, who we treat them like commons, like Ray Noble.
Good point.
Good point. These were all-time great players who didn't get a chance until they were 32, 33. And as a catcher at 32, 33, what were you really going to do?
And Satchel Paige cards have gone for, I mean, not just 48 Leaf, his 53 Tops card.
Yeah.
Lots of Satchel,
Tops, huge.
Yeah, those cards have increased in value. So that's good to see the respect they deserve to get those cards. To your point, Clemente, I was happy to see Minoso get in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I'm happy that they're going back and doing the right thing and putting more guys in the Hall of Fame, but also they're trading cards. And sometimes you can't even get a trading card of some of the guys, but the Cuban League, the Puerto Rican sticker, the Cuban
Hall of
Famers, and also some of the photos where they have old photos where people, get the Negro League Hall of Famers. It's great. That market's heating up too. And to the point, I mean, look, all markets right now, this is the best time ever.
Red hot. It's red hot.
If you have a collection, and I don't know what you would have had to buy other than if you just bought like 89 Tops baseball or 90 Donruss baseball or something. Anything else you bought, you were making money on. Okay, that you put away. I mean, the market.
And you're even losing less on the 89 Tops.
Yeah, you're even losing less on the junk wax. Yeah.
Hey, Scotty, what's your website address?
TheCollectorConnection.com.
And when does the auction end?
May 1st, Sunday, May 1st.
Sunday, May 1st. Listen, we wish you the best. Glad we love when you come on. You kind of get it. You know what we're all about. So that's it.
And there's all those great $20 and $30 cards in there for everybody too. So.
There you go.
Hey, get your office. Get some staff there.
Well, we do have some, but I seem to get my office team tends to be the ugliest.
All right, Scott. Thanks a lot.
Line up. So.
Scott Rushlow from the Collector Connection. Okay, he's a good guy, Scotty, huh?
Scotty's the best. They have some great NBA stuff in that auction, too. Some Bird, Magic.
Good man.
Good stuff, yeah.
All right, listen, you mentioned something about Grady, and what the hell is this all about?
I just wanted to know, and
don't blow it.
No, I'm just not going to blow it.
No, I was talking to my grandson.
Oh, I thought you meant him.
That's the worst thing you can do.
We're both Johns.
I know that.
So, yeah. So, Derek, if you could have a steel cage match with anybody, who would it be?
You mean other than Golden? Other than Kenny? No, we actually get along. I I think that would sell out at the National.
Oh, there's no you and Golden at the National on the Burkus stage, a steel cage match.
That would be awesome.
Gold.
That's
absolute
no holds
gold.
barred.
Gold. Gold.
I would announce her to do my best Gorilla Monsoon. Also,
Okay,
I would do
there
that.
you go.
Yeah,
but no, I think it would be if I had to pick one person, it'd be Putin. You can't go invade sovereign nations and just start killing people. And it's just not. It's not cool. I don't care what party you're in. Like, we're past this. So, I'm making the challenge to Vladimir. This isn't going to. I heard he's a listener.
Can we put this together?
He's a listener.
Can we put ATS
Grady against Putin?
This could be a pay-per-view.
I would, or a pay-per-view for Putin. I think that would be awesome. You know what mine would be? Marie Osmond. Never liked her.
What? You're crazy.
What the hell? You guys are both serious.
Marie Osmond, you're going to fight a woman now. Okay, great. Well, that's.
All right, let's get down to some.
Always rub me the wrong. Wouldn't hurt Donnie, but Marie.
No.
God help me. All right, listen. First of all, let's talk about Heritage Auctions. Can we talk about Heritage? What do you got going? You got all kinds of stuff going. Let's hear it.
Currently we have our, a big May catalog online right now. I think there's over 4,600 lots, May 12th to the 14th. Starting with 19th century stuff, in cards, going the whole way through, modern stuff, and then memorabilia. It's a loaded auction. We've got the Patrick Waugh collection in there from his personal collection, Ronnie Lott's collection, Joe Garagiola, some stuff from him, with more Garagiola stuff to come up in the July auction. It's Michael Jordan photo match a jersey from The Last Dance, photo matched, graded a 10. Lots of Super Bowl rings. We got a huge Super Bowl ring collection that we've split up over a few auctions as far as the memorabilia goes. In cards, the usual suspects, breaking up a lot of high-end sets, registry sets, wax boxes. Nothing. We usually don't miss.
Hey, Derek, can you talk a little more about the Super Bowl ring collection? When I was on a couple of weeks, I think we had Mike Provenzal. He mentioned it a little bit, but you're getting them from former players, collectors.
No,
how are you getting those?
It was a real collector that just a true collector.
Yep.
And he didn't just he wanted player rings.
Yep.
I believe. And, he was a local guy somewhere in Texas. And he wanted player rings. He wanted the how there's A rings, B rings.
Yes.
So he wanted player rings, and some are more significant players that were really good, and some were, just players that got a ring. But he tried to get the best ones he could, and he got one. I forget what year they went up to, but it's a really impressive collection. And we were debating how we were going to run it. And I thought, what we try and do at Heritage is run it the way we would sell our own personal collections, and that's break it up and maximize. And if you put 50 rings all in one sale,
right?
You don't know if that's going to bring more people in. I think, and what I told our guys was, hey, I think 15 Super Bowl rings in one sale is a huge amount of rings. So we're going to have those over the rest of the year.
How do you go about valuing those? Is it the Super Bowl that was from the player, the look of the ring?
It really
how do you do that?
So basically, what it is it's comps. Just like anything, we go back through and get an idea. First of all, the player matters. If it's a Hall of Fame player, you can add 5 figures to it.
Yeah.
But there's also tougher rings than other rings that you don't see that much of. Some of the modern rings are tougher to find than some of the older ones. But it's. We've sold probably just about every ring, so we have a comp. It might not be dead accurate, we try and be conservative. A lot of times stuff goes over estimate, but that's how but yeah, definitely the rarity of how many rings are out there for sure.
Right.
The player, obviously, the bigger the player, you can get into 6 figures.
Hey, Derek, you've been in this business for a long time. What is the single most impressive piece that you've ever held in your hand?
As a professional grader, I could go back to a lot of one-of-one 19th century stuff, but I would say, the Wagners, the Baltimore News Ruths, and then as far as working, so as a grader, that stuff is, that doesn't get old. As far as an auction company, a great, when you're holding a bat, graded a 10 that Ruth used at a home run, or Ty Cobb used.
That's going to be
That's
pretty
something.
cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty
something.
cool.
That's
when
neat.
I have, Clemente Aaron Mays items, Mays gloves or a jersey, or
those things that they touched, those things that they actually had in
their
their
DNA is on,
right?
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Robinson
this
jersey.
is a broad comparison, but when I went to Nashville a couple of years ago, I went to Tootsie's, which is it's a big purple 2-level bar, and it just felt like there were a lot of great bars in Nashville, but to go where Elvis walked. And where Willie
it's
Nelson
the DNA.
performed. It's like you're sitting in a chair that Elvis might have sat in.
Absolutely.
You're walking on a floor that Elvis. It's just different. It's different.
Absolutely. And it's, I'm around it so much at Heritage. It's hard we bring in, whether it's a Mantle jersey, a DiMaggio jersey, I think jerseys are super impressive. I think bats are too, when you think that's their weapon they used, right?
Yeah, cool.
Even a Brady jersey, the way he, it's like, pretty much, I don't know. I know we've sold a Ruth jersey early on at Heritage. I don't know that I held that one in my hand, but pretty much everything else I've stopped and looked or held, or, it's really cool. Our national display, people come up to us at the national because we have one of the biggest displays in the national, with 4 or 5 guards, and it looks like a museum.
Yeah,
people come up and ask to take pictures all the time.
It's very cool. All right, listen, we are chatting with Derek Grady. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. Grady's with us till the end of the show. We're going to bring Bob Brodwater from Collectibles Insurance.
Yep.
Grady's talking about this memorabilia. If it's not insured, you're playing with fire.
100%.
Then at the very end of the show, we're going to bring in a special little guest, because this is what it's all about. This is the future of the hobby. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection, to the famed Boston Garden Auction, to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
With so many fakes out there, it's hard to figure out if the sneakers you want are real. But when you buy eligible sneakers on eBay, you can be confident they're genuine because every pair goes through a meticulous authentication process. Introducing eBay Authenticity Guarantee. First, the sneakers you've purchased are inspected by a team of professional authenticators who carefully examine the shoes, including color, pattern, logos, and materials. Then they're measured and compared to the eBay listing to make sure they match. Even the laces, accessories, and box are checked. Once your sneakers are verified, they receive an authenticity tag, and every tag is NFC enabled so you can see the detailed specs. eBay Authenticity Guarantee. No fakes, no fraud, no doubt.
And Zap, eBay is the place to go for all of your memorabilia, sports or non-sports cards, autographs, and much more. Whether it's a gift for that special someone or you just want to add to your collection, eBay's huge marketplace should be your first stop. And if you sell, now's the time to flip your cards and get some extra cash. I shop on eBay all the time. That's eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally.
You know, Grady, not for nothing, but I think it would be a nice gesture on your part to buy me something for my birthday in June. On eBay. Anything will do. I'll take anything.
Well, that leaves you a lot of space there, Derek. I think you can buy him something really nice.
Should I buy him something like he gives out to the viewers for the contest?
Right.
You know, that's
$3 items, $2 items.
Speaking of which, we have signed Rico Petrocelli today.
Oh, wow. How do we get these? How do we get access?
I don't know. Those are very rare.
Unbelievable.
All right, you know something? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to discuss it. All right.
I turn them over now and use it as paper in my printer. That's how.
That's terrible.
I don't know how we get access to Rico so much.
I love Rico.
I love Rico too.
Tom, in all honesty, your books are really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And it's an education for the hobby, and giving away some of those. It's pretty cool.
Okay, you know what we're going to do?
He's going to buy you one of our books.
I tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to bring Bob in about 2 seconds, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Because we've been talking about this, you have been not part of the conversation.
I prefer to not be part
starting in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be, a lot of people have asked, how can I buy your books? And we're trying to kind of keep it separate. But we're going to have some books here, and we're going to tell you how you can buy them. Plus,
why would we keep it separate?
Oh, you don't have the Great American.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
No, but
he's
you don't
great
have
at
the
marketing.
T-shirt.
I do have the T-shirt. I'm not wearing it.
We are also going to be selling Great American Collectibles T-shirts in the near future. We're going to have some made. We have a double XL for you, Grady. No problem.
I'm still XL, but I'll tell you, as much as I travel, I really eat like.
You know, we should do. We
on the
should
road.
make Grady special dress shirts that the first 4 buttons are gone.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
all right. Let's bring in our guest.
It starts right at the abdomen.
There is nothing more important than having. If you're going to collect, you got to have it insured. If you don't have it insured, as I say, you're playing with fire. So
literally
right now,
sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, it's ridiculous. So let's bring in our special guest, who's been on many times, really knows what he's talking about. Bob Brodwater from Collectibles Insurance Services. Bob, how are you, bud?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Hey, Bob.
Tell us about Collectibles Insurance Services, what it's all about.
Absolutely. We've been around for 60 years with agents who specialize in understanding the value of your collection, talking to folks how they acquired it, and then working with individuals to discuss how best to protect those assets with adequate insurance. So we have those agents standing by and ready to talk about those things. And we specialize in insuring all types of collection, sports memorabilia, one of our fastest growing segments, that trading cards. We protect against fire, theft damage, shipping damage, transit, should you lose it when traveling to and from a show, for example. We offer coverage for those types of losses.
Hey, Bob, do you work with or follow people like Derek Grady or, auction houses like Heritage?
That's a good question.
To learn more about how to value a particular collection? I don't know if you're a collector yourself, if you have any background in that, but you sort of have to have some knowledge of sports cards or art or whatever you're protecting.
I absolutely am. Absolutely am a collector as well.
Okay.
We do follow Heritage Auctions and some of the others you named. This product we offer is a market value policy, which means, as we all know, we may have acquired items years ago. They're worth a lot more today than they were then. This policy, as long as you have an adequate limit, keeps up with those increased valuations, which is really the attractive part of it, because you'll get paid out for what that would cost today to replace.
How is that determined, Bob? How do I determine the value to you of my collection?
And when we initially issue the policy, we rely on the customer to provide us those valuations. For some of the larger value items, we do independent checks at various auction houses, using various online price guides. We do a couple sanity checks to make sure that's a close approximate value. And should there be a loss, we go through the same exercise. We rely on much of the areas you talk to and the people you talk to, their services for providing what those values currently are in the market based on the grading of something, et cetera. So we go to all those sites to assess that.
Derek,
Let me ask you a question.
I was going to say, Derek, jump in.
Yeah, because I think it's important, because somebody that's collected lifelong, and when you try, and I think you probably found this, that people struggle getting insurance. If it wasn't for guys like you, when you just trying to add collectibles, a lot of companies don't want to touch it. They get scared, they've been burned. How simple is it? Because people it becomes not as fun for people when they turn their collection into a business and they constantly have to update their spreadsheet for you. Do you have to do a line item? Do you, how do you require a listing? So if somebody gets a $250,000 policy, do you list every item over $50, or do you list every item that's over $1,000? How do you do it to where it's not so cumbersome for people to want to do it, even though they should? Insurance is important. I just want to know, can you do it where you only list items 1,000 and above, or 10,000 above, or 5,000 and above, or something like that?
Correct. Yeah, two key points there. One, homeowners' policies, by and large, are not interested in covering these types of items. And if they do, it's certainly not to the current market value, which is where we come in. We fill that gap. We require scheduling of individual items with individual values 25,000 and above. That's it. So any of those items, we do schedule those with a description, approximate value of the item. Items under 25,000 fall under our blanket coverage. So the payout wouldn't be greater than 25,000 on any of those items. But we would determine the market value of those. As far as record keeping goes, look, the vast majority do not have receipts from when we acquired a certain item.
Sure.
We do great. Usually 9 times out of 10, we ask for a picture of those items, and we record that and file that. So some folks have an Excel sheet, others send us pictures, some send us both, but those are the only support we require when issuing the policy.
Hey, Bob, before we let you go, talk about a deductible. Is there a deductible?
There is not on our collector policy. We do have a $50 minimum claim payment, so we only enter claim requests greater than that, but it's not a deductible. You have a $100 loss, we pay out $100.
Wow, very cool. All right, so listen, bottom line here, viewers, listeners, hobbyists.
Yeah, I mean,
collectors.
it's just
a
like
no-brainer.
it's jewelry. It's every.
It's a no-brainer.
You know,
I mean, if you don't have insurance for your collection,
Right.
again, I say it all the time. You're playing with fire. What
Yeah.
is your website address, Bob? How can people get in touch with you guys?
Collectinsure.com, or simply Google Collectibles Insurance Services, and we'll be right there at the top.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye now.
Okay. Hey, Grady, I got a couple of questions for you. I look at this hobby is changing in front of our eyes.
It is.
Literally. What are your thoughts on that? Are you tentative? Are you excited? Are you scared? Talk to me.
Why would I be scared?
Well, okay, that's an exexaggeration.
You're like a therapist there for a moment.
You never know what he's going to say. It's
Right.
so awesome.
It
Yeah.
is.
You know what? I am scared shitless of the hobby. I am out of. I don't even know what to do. Now, listen.
All right, forget the question. Just what are your thoughts?
Okay, so here's my thoughts. I'm a little
scared too.
Yeah, I'm scared what's going to come out of his mouth.
All right, well, you answer the question.
Listen. I just did the Long Island show.
Yeah,
Hofstra. Okay. I have left that show at 1:30 on a Sunday because there was nobody in the room. I didn't get out of there till 5:30 this Sunday. Okay. The room was packed both days. Jimmy Ryan, a good friend, the promoter of the White Plains and the Hofstra shows, the New York shows, he told me it was his record attendance for any show he's ever done. Okay. That's including the East Coast National. So the Hofstra show had thousands of people coming through the doors, and it was packed each day.
But you know what's interesting, Derek? Let's go back 15 years ago. I think I met you about then, you guys. And when you went to a show, there were auction houses.
Yep.
And there were card dealers.
Right.
Now you go to a show, auction houses, card dealers, fractional buying companies,
grading services.
Right. Pack opening places.
Yes.
It's just like exploded. It's not
but
just...
also it's just the amount of people and the diversity in people. It used to be like people would argue it was an old white man hobby,
Right.
like coins or something, and you'd see the same people, by the way.
Yep.
So when I did a show, you'd see the same people.
Right.
Now Drellick in Philly, he promotes an outstanding show in Philadelphia. Okay,
Good
show
point.
is packed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
There's so many more people. That's why every segment of the hobby is doing well.
Right.
I mean, it's just
Non-sports
exploded,
cards, vintage
JM.
cards, everything.
I mean, you remember...
Well, the
when
other
we-
thing is, you're even seeing dealers there that aren't necessarily totally linked to collecting because there's a captive audience there. There's a sports-minded, spending money audience there. So it's almost become like the collectibles version of a home show. You know what I mean? Where you get the guys selling mops, the guys selling houses, whatever. It's a mix because it's an audience that's liquid.
JM, a younger crowd, the demographics going down also, right? You're seeing more younger kids there, young collectors.
You said JM. You mean Derek?
No, I'm Derek. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are younger kids. There is every ethnicity. There are more women coming to shows.
Yep.
There are more women collectors. It is literally all encompassing, and that's what we've been waiting for because we have a cool hobby, and everybody's
It's a
sports
great
fan.
hobby.
Yep.
I used to argue, why weren't there more people collecting when you sell out stadiums and all these events, but people weren't collecting sports stuff? I didn't understand it. Comic-Con. Look how many people come to Comic-Cons all over the country.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it to happen in sports, and we're there now.
We're talking about young collectors.
Yeah.
And I want to bring somebody up right now that kind of accompanied me today. And this is a good example, and I'm not kidding. He's a good example of what this hobby is. This is my grandson.
All right,
Johnny?
This on you, Johnny. Good name. You got a great name.
Put his mic up. Johnny, how you doing, buddy?
Right there. You good? How's it feel?
So this go.
Oh, over here.
Yeah, that's because he doesn't know what he's doing, John. He's only been in the business for
35 years.
Can you talk okay?
35
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So, Johnny, this is my grandson, Derek. This is little Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Johnny,
Nice to
Johnny,
meet
how
you, guy.
old are you?
8 years old.
Now, we got you into collecting, right? And do you like collecting?
Uh-huh.
What are your 4 favorite cards?
Well, my Barry Sanders, Peyton Manning, Michael Jordan, and Tom Brady.
Now, are any of your cards graded?
Yes, I have 3 cards graded.
What's graded?
My Barry Sanders, my rookie Peyton Manning, and my Barry Sanders.
So you mean you?
Wait, and my Troy Aikman.
You're Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
So you have the rookie. You have the rookie. Who was it?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. You have a Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You have a Tom Brady. What year is the Tom Brady? That's a 2000 Tom Brady, isn't it? Pretty old one. I think it is. Now, your cards are not graded, but you're learning. Do you like collecting?
Yes, a lot.
Right? And what is your favorite sport? And Derek, jump in anytime you want here, because I know you're on the same intellectual level.
I am. No,
It's kind of an insult to
see
Johnny
kids
here,
collecting. Did they let you bring cards to school and trade them? Is there any little collector clubs in school?
No, but I'm trying to make one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great
awesome.
idea,
There
Johnny.
you go.
A collector.
I'm writing a letter to the principal.
Now, Johnny, there was a rumor circulating. We have a few minutes that when Nano, I'm Italian. He calls me Nanu. When we were in
Nanu.
Florida,
I like it. I'm going to use that.
when we were in Florida, there was a rumor circulating that you and your father were up in my closet going through my collection.
Was there anything of value? I mean, that's what I'd be
Well, I was looking for some 2020 or 2021 stuff. I couldn't find anything like that, so.
You know why? Because I have it hidden. No,
You
I
probably found
do.
some 1920 and 1920.
I do have some cards. I'm trying to get him. I'll tell you, Derek. I'm trying to get him to. He's getting into the modern and ultra modern stuff. That's what he likes. Likes the stuff from the '80s, but I want to get him to the vintage stuff slowly. Right, the older stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Love
that's
it.
good.
Weren't you
Love
going
it.
to ask
And-
me what my favorite?
And some of the books you've done, hopefully, a lot of pictures in them, right?
You're gonna
Showing
learn.
them the cards, the 52s, and all those. I think those are great resources for them to look at. And a lot of people love even. Here's the thing. Even when I put out the display cases, I think there's a 3x multiple of people, even my age in the 50s, 51. Looking at the modern cards, people like to collect people that are currently playing. So even the 50-year-old, 60-year-olds are looking in the modern case a lot, but the older cards are just such. If you love history, there's such great artwork and stuff with the older cards. So I think it's valuable that he looks back at some of those. It's very cool too. I can't believe
he plays multiple sports.
Yeah, he's a good athlete.
Baseball, football, basketball.
Bringing a T206 card into school. I mean, they're not even. That is so cool. Even if it's a common.
I know.
These tobacco
It
cards.
seems
Jordan,
like with
if
the
you could
cards,
start-
you like football. You have Aikman.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
Brady,
that.
Manning. You're
You
going
like
for the
football?
quarterback.
What's your first love for cards? Football or basketball?
Football.
And you like basketball or baseball? What do you like better?
Are we cards?
Yeah,
Basketball.
you do like basketball. Now, do you like the modern basketball players, or do you like the guys like Larry Bird and?
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah. Do you have any? You don't have any modern basketball players, do you? Yet,
No.
like Jason Tatum or
No.
Yeah,
I'm-
that might
I
be
have-
next.
I have like a bunch of old players.
like Larry, Michael Jordan,
Magic.
Magic.
That's a good era.
Those
That's
are
a
good
great
cards.
era.
Those are good
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah, it's a great era.
You can hang with us for a little while.
Yeah,
just,
hang in.
just don't overstep your boundaries, or else I won't take any Mickey D's after the show. Nothing is too good for him.
Big spending Nanu.
Yeah, Nanu is pulling out that wallet.
All right, listen, I give away real quickly. Here, Johnny, you can pick out because we got about 2 minutes left. No, little John, not you. Johnny, you're going to pick one out.
Took my gig.
Don't look. Give
Already
it
getting
to
replaced.
Big John.
What do we got?
What do we got?
We have Greg Schidler.
Greg Schidler.
Greg Schidler.
Greg Schidler gets the Rico Petrocelli signed. Oh, this is a good at
No,
bat.
that's a great one. Look at that.
You
Look
get
at
the
that
signed
stance.
picture.
That's a
You know
perfect
how it
stance.
works, Greg. Email us, text us,
Greg
message
Schidler.
us. If we don't hear from you a week, you're out. Derek, as always, man, you know how much you mean to us. We love
thank
having
you.
you on the show. You bring so much. We get all kinds of comments. People love you. They think you're a whack job like us, which is great.
I try. I try.
Why don't you give us your website before you leave?
Yeah, ha.com. Go to the sports department. There's also, 35 other departments that are amazing, but we always have weekly auctions, monthly auctions, our catalog auctions. You will find every collectible from every price range in our sports auctions, ha.com. Go to sports department.
And guess what, Johnny? When we go to the Boston show, you're going to go and you're going to meet Derek at the Boston show. He's famous. He is so famous. You're going to meet him.
Come on.
He's famous now.
Yeah, now he's famous.
All right, guys. Johnny, great
All right.
job. Good job, buddy. And to our viewers and listeners, we love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Chrissy and David, as always, a great job. And with that being said, happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.